Picture this. Montecito, California. Sunlight pouring over multimillion-dollar mansions. Manicured lawns gleaming. The ocean breeze rolling softly in. It's the picture of peace, luxury, and stability. And then, bam! News breaks that Prince Harry has allegedly thrown Meghan Markle out of their sprawling Montecito estate. The timing? Right after a so-called reconciliation with King Charles. Wait, what? Didn't Harry and Meghan famously break away from the royal family, vowing to never look back? And now the Duke of Sussex is suddenly warming up to his father, only for Meghan to find herself locked out of the gates of their California mansion? But before we continue, please subscribe, like, and turn on the notification bell for more updates. This story has everything: betrayal, reconciliation, family drama, whispered royal decrees, and, of course, the eternal question: what really goes on behind Palace and Montecito walls? So grab your cup of tea or a glass of Montecito rose, because we're diving deep into this saga, 7,000 words worth of twists, turns, and jaw-dropping revelations that'll keep you hooked until the very last line. How did we even get here? Let's rewind the royal tape. Harry and Meghan's relationship was once a real-life fairy tale. The handsome prince and the glamorous actress. Who could resist that storyline? Their wedding in 2018 was broadcast worldwide, drawing millions of viewers who were ready to believe in happily ever after. But ever after didn't last long. Just 2 years later, the couple stunned the world by announcing Megxit, stepping down from royal duties and relocating to California. Their Montecito mansion became a symbol of independence, a safe haven where they could raise Archie and Lilibet away from palace politics. So how does a fairy tale of freedom end up with Harry allegedly showing Meghan the door? It all begins with one word: family. Harry has always been torn between loyalty to Meghan and a deep, if fractured, bond with his royal relatives. And according to insiders, his father King Charles has been playing the long game, waiting for the perfect moment to bring Harry back into the royal fold. But here's the kicker. Reconciliation with Charles may have come with strings attached. Strings Meghan never saw coming. But why now? Why would Harry turn on Meghan after everything they've endured together? The whispered meeting with King Charles. Royal insiders whisper of a private meeting. Harry, Charles, and perhaps even Queen Camilla present. No cameras, no courtiers, just raw family business. Imagine the scene. Charles, ever the pragmatist, reminding Harry of duty, legacy, and the weight of the crown. Harry, torn, realizing that bridges with the monarchy may not be entirely burned. And Meghan, allegedly left out of the conversation. For Charles, reconciliation wasn't just about father and son. It was about image. With his reign under constant scrutiny and scandals swirling around Andrew and others, Charles needed a redemption arc. Bringing Harry back into the fold provided exactly that. But Meghan? For Charles, she remained the outsider, the complication, the actress who couldn't play the royal role. If the whispers are true, Charles's message to Harry was chillingly clear. It's either her or us. But would Harry really choose the crown over love? The Montecito showdown. Sources describe the scene at Montecito like something straight out of a Netflix drama. Tension simmering. Suitcases in the hallway. Raised voices echoing through marble walls. Harry, red-faced and furious, confronting Meghan. Words like betrayal and loyalty flying across the room. Meghan, allegedly stunned, insisting she had sacrificed everything for him. Her career, her privacy, her reputation. But Harry's mind by then seemed made up. Neighbors claimed to have seen Meghan leaving the estate with bags. Whether for a cooling-off period or something more permanent remains unclear. What's certain is that Montecito's quiet streets buzzed with rumors overnight. And if you think this was just a lover's quarrel, think again. This wasn't about dirty dishes, Netflix contracts, or Spotify deals. This was about loyalty to the monarchy itself. But could Harry really survive without Meghan by his side? Meghan's countermove. If there's one thing we know about Meghan, it's that she doesn't back down without a fight. Within hours of the alleged Montecito showdown, reports began swirling of Meghan reaching out to her own network, Hollywood allies, PR strategists, and even old friends like Serena Williams and Oprah. Meghan's strategy? Reframe the narrative. Position herself not as the villain, but as the victim. The woman who gave up everything for a prince who ultimately chose the crown over her. And let's be honest. In Hollywood, a comeback story is always just one well-timed interview away. But here's the twist. While Meghan might control her story in California, the royal machinery in London was already spinning its version. So whose narrative would the world believe? The role of princess and the silent enforcer. Behind the scenes, there's one royal who has quietly influenced Harry more than most realize. Princess and, known for her no-nonsense attitude and unflinching loyalty to the monarchy, and reportedly told Harry in no uncertain terms, "You've had your Hollywood experiment. It's time to come home." For a man starved of structure, those words may have struck a chord. And, after all, embodies everything Meghan was accused of lacking: duty, restraint, and an ability to endure public scrutiny without complaint. If Harry sought a model for reconciliation, and offered it, and Meghan, she was never going to win Anne's approval. But could Anne's influence really have tipped the scales? Public reaction, Team Harry or Team Meghan? The internet, as expected, exploded. Team Harry argued he was finally waking up, reclaiming his royal roots, and choosing family over chaos. Team Meghan accused him of betrayal, hypocrisy, and weakness. Hashtags like hashtag Montecito meltdown and hashtag royal reunion trended worldwide. Think about it. When was the last time one family argument could dominate global headlines? Only when the family in question wears crowns and commands billions in taxpayer-funded palaces. But beyond the noise, ordinary people ask themselves relatable questions. What happens when you choose your parents over your partner? Can love survive when loyalty is tested this brutally? And perhaps most importantly, was Meghan ever really accepted to begin with? What this means for the future of the monarchy. Here's where things get serious. If Harry truly reconciles with Charles at Meghan's expense, it reshapes the future of the monarchy itself. Suddenly, Charles is no longer just the embattled king. He's the father who brought his prodigal son back. But at what cost? The monarchy risks being painted as cold, exclusionary, and hostile toward outsiders. Meghan's exclusion only reinforces the narrative that the firm never wanted her in the first place. And Harry? He risks being seen not as a loyal son, but as a man who abandoned his wife for a crown he once claimed he wanted no part of. The stakes couldn't be higher. So is this the beginning of the monarchy's redemption, or its next scandal? Lessons we can all learn. Believe it or not, buried in this royal chaos are lessons we can all relate to. 1. Family versus partner. How many of us have faced the choice between keeping peace with our family or standing by our partner? 2. The power of narrative in a world ruled by social media. The one who controls the story often wins. 3. Boundaries matter. Harry and Meghan tried to build boundaries with the palace, but blurred lines always lead to drama. 4. The price of loyalty. Loyalty is expensive, whether to a crown, a career, or a person. And perhaps the biggest lesson. Even those living in mansions worth $14 million wrestle with the same messy, heartbreaking choices as the rest of us. Chapter 9. What happens next? Will Meghan stage her comeback with a blockbuster interview? Will Harry quietly slip back into royal life, red uniform and all? Or will this entire saga turn out to be a temporary storm in Montecito's teacup? No one knows for sure. But one thing is certain. This story is far from over. And if history has taught us anything about the Windsors, it's that the next chapter will be even more dramatic than the last. Your turn to weigh in. So here we are. A prince, a duchess, a king, and one Montecito mansion at the center of it all. Some say Harry chose loyalty. Others say he betrayed love. Meghan, once the fairy tale bride, now finds herself cast in a different role: outsider, survivor, perhaps even victim. And as for Charles, he may have won his son back, but at the risk of losing public sympathy once again. The question now isn't just what happens next for Harry and Meghan. It's what happens next for us all, because their drama, at its core, mirrors our own struggles with loyalty, family, and the stories we tell ourselves about who we are. Behind closed doors, the hidden letters and secret calls. What really pushed Harry over the edge? Was it just a father-son reconciliation? Or was there more brewing beneath Montecito's glossy surface? Because according to whispers from insiders, the showdown wasn't triggered overnight. It was the result of months of hidden letters, secret calls, and subtle pressure from the crown itself. Picture it. Charles quietly reaching out, penning private notes in his famously spidery handwriting. Letters full of regret, but also reminders of duty. Perhaps even veiled warnings. Your place in history is waiting, but it requires sacrifice. Harry, torn, read them late at night when the house was quiet. Meghan, busy managing projects, may not have even known the full extent. Every phone call from Clarence's house brought him closer to a truth he couldn't ignore. Reconciliation was not optional. It was expected. And if Harry didn't comply, the monarchy might close its doors to him forever. But did those letters include an ultimatum about Meghan? A whisper network of royals. Behind every official royal story lies the whisper network. Cousins, aunts, aides, and long-trusted friends of the crown who pass information like currency. Princess and wasn't the only voice in Harry's ear. The Duke of Kent, Lady Sarah Chatto, and even Prince William, despite the infamous rift, were said to have weighed in quietly. The consensus? You cannot heal your place in history while clinging to Hollywood. Think about that for a second. Imagine hearing your entire family, blood relatives who share your childhood memories, aligning in one voice against the person you vowed to protect. That's not just pressure. That's emotional warfare. And Harry, caught between past and present, began to crack. But what role did William really play? The William factor. It's easy to frame this saga as Harry versus Meghan versus Charles. But what about the brotherly battlefield that's been burning since 2019? William, the heir, reportedly never forgave Meghan for what he saw as disrupting the family order. Their explosive argument before Megxit was only the beginning. And now, with reconciliation on the table, William's stance carried weight. If he wants back in, William may have told Charles, "It cannot be with her." Those words, if true, hit Harry like a dagger. After all, this was the brother who once told him, "Whatever happens, we're in this together." Now it was her or us. And when Charles nodded in agreement, Harry faced a choice no husband should ever have to make. So was this really about reconciliation? Or revenge? Meghan's side of the story. While Harry wrestled with family ghosts, Meghan allegedly felt blindsided. Friends say she had no idea the depth of Harry's conversations with Charles and William. No idea that ultimatums were being whispered across palatial corridors in London. No idea that her place in the story was shrinking by the day. Her reaction? Fury. Betrayal. A sense of déjà vu once again. The firm had maneuvered behind her back, painting her as the perpetual outsider. And when Harry confronted her with the choice, royal family or her, Meghan's tears reportedly turned into icy silence. "After everything I gave up," she might have whispered, "you'd choose them?" That's the moment neighbors claim they heard raised voices. That's the moment Montecito's iron gates allegedly closed behind her. But if Meghan was out, where did she go? Meghan's exit strategy. Here's where the story gets even more intriguing. Sources suggest Meghan wasn't left stranded. Within hours of leaving Montecito, she reportedly headed toward Los Angeles, where old Hollywood friends and PR allies opened their doors. Some even speculate she's been drafting her next big tell-all, one that could eclipse the Oprah interview. After all, nothing sells like betrayal. And what's more sellable than being cast aside by your own husband for a crown you both rejected? Others whisper she may even pen her own memoir, flipping the script on Harry's spare. Imagine the title, Left Behind. But Meghan is no fool. She knows timing is everything. If she moves too soon, she looks bitter. Too late, and the crown cements its version of events. So what's her play? Hollywood reacts. Meanwhile, Meghan's allies in Hollywood are said to be buzzing with activity.